It's the end of an era. It wasn't just her beauty or her stardom, it was her humanitarianism. She put a face on HIV/AIDS. She was funny, she was generous. She made her life count. Those are the words of Barbra Streisand today, mourning the loss of Elizabeth Taylor. After her long ride as the world's most famous movie star, in 1985, Elizabeth Taylor helped create the American Foundation for AIDS Research, or amfAR, after her close friend, actor Rock Hudson, died of AIDS. Since then, amfAR has raised more than $325 million for research. Elizabeth Taylor traveled the world calling attention to the epidemic. She made repeated visits to Congress, pushing for more federal funding for AIDS-fighting efforts.
I'm here to speak about a national scandal. A scandal of neglect, indifference, and abandonment. Yes, we have made some progress in developing treatments, but nowhere near enough. People still get sick. People die in droves. We need more basic research, and God, we need a vaccine.
I first met Elizabeth Taylor at a small family-style dinner party at Gregory Peck's house. To my everlasting luck, Veronique Peck sat me beside Elizabeth. The next couple of hours was the most fun I've ever had sitting beside a dinner companion I'd just met. She didn't make small talk. She was blunt, sharp, funny, and of course, mesmerizing. When she discovered I worked in the Senate, she immediately went to her memories of life as a Senate wife, the only movie star who ever had such memories. She told delightful, self-deprecating stories about her life as a politician's wife that respect for her privacy does not allow me to repeat. I'm certain that everyone who had a moment with Elizabeth Taylor has similar fond memories. Two people who have spent much more time with Elizabeth Taylor are joining me now. amfAR's chairman of the board, fashion designer Kenneth Cole, and on the phone, a dear friend of Elizabeth Taylor, Academy Award nominated actress, the one, the only, Debbie Reynolds. Debbie Reynolds, tell us what you're feeling tonight, looking back on the career of Elizabeth Taylor.
Well, it was an extraordinary career. I've known Elizabeth since we were both 17 years old and went to school on the MGM lot together, kind of grew up together. Well, she, of course, was always a big star when I was just beginning. And we became good friends and were for many, many years. And then she was always a great beauty of our time, of our generation. There was no one more glamorous or sexual than Elizabeth. And women loved her and men loved her, and I know because my husband did too. And her love for the children, her children, is endearing. She was quite a girl. She was a great girl.
Debbie, the great beauties and the great sort of sex symbols of cinema are not often taken seriously as actresses, but here was Elizabeth Taylor who delivered performances, I think, at certain points in her career, that especially Virginia Woolf, that nobody expected of her earlier in her career.
That's right. And Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, because she came through with that one. Well, I think that Elizabeth, she began so young, and then she grew up, and not every woman, female star, can overcome her great beauty. You know, she was so gorgeous. Her eyes were mesmerizing. You could hardly, well, you said you had dinner with her, and you could hardly take your eyes off of her. Besides being funny, because she was funny and cryptic and really a great character, Elizabeth was a lovely actress, and she worked many years to be good. She was very talented.
Kenneth Cole, she cashed in her chips. She used her fame for money, but it was not money for herself, to help collect money for amfAR. Tell us where amfAR would have been without Elizabeth Taylor at the outset.
amfAR didn't exist before Elizabeth Taylor. She came along, she founded amfAR along with Dr. Matilda Krim, but she, earlier, even before that, she found her voice, which she so articulately did so often in her career, and she said things that others wouldn't, she did things when others hadn't, and she was very unique and very profound always, and she was so compelling, and people always paid attention when Elizabeth spoke. And she had a very important message to say when few were, and nobody was speaking about AIDS in the mid-'80s, because Ronald Reagan didn't mention the word publicly until '87, in fact, at an amfAR event, and 40,000 people had already died. But she did, and she inspired others to find their way and to find their voice, and in very compelling ways. And the biggest problem with AIDS then, and not that different today, was the notion of stigma, the fact that you couldn't speak about it. And if the reason no one spoke about it then is because if you did, you were presumed to be at risk, which meant you were either gay or you were an IV drug user, or maybe you were Haitian. I was a single male designer, as I often joke. Everybody would probably just assume I was Haitian. Right. But the fact is, maybe because I wasn't, I was comfortable, but what she did was extraordinary, and she did it throughout her career, and she did it as an actress, and she did it as an advocate. And she raised a lot of money for amfAR, and we've raised a lot of money since. We changed our mission since. We were the American Foundation for AIDS Research. She believed in the notion of a global crisis. This wasn't an American pandemic. This was a global crisis, and we dropped American, and now we're the Foundation for AIDS Research because of her. And the notion is if it exists anywhere, it exists everywhere. If anyone is infected, we're all affected.
An amazing contribution to the arts and to this cause. Debbie Reynolds, thank you very, very much for joining me tonight. It's an honor to have you on the phone. Thank you.
I'm happy to have been here and happy to have represented Elizabeth for a moment. She's in a better place and she's out of pain. That's the main thing.
Thank you very much. And Kenneth Cole, chairman of amfAR, we're sorry for your loss, and sorry we don't have more time to discuss this tonight.